Good evening, folks. My name is Jason Wampler, and this is yet another episode of An Axe to Grind. Um, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to wear my glasses and see how that flags. I don't think that'll come across very well. In fact, you know what? We tried it, doesn't work. I'll go back to black and white. Whatever gets me views. Hey, I'm trying to center these two pictures behind me. And I'm trying to increase production value. Um, let's see as well. But I'm having a hard time with that. Today's going to be kind of a long episode. I wanted to, I need to keep these between 30 and 40 minutes long, but there's a couple things I need to talk about. I knew I bitched and moaned about eBay. We're going to table that, and I talked about the death of Dale Earnhardt, his last ride as an outlaw racer. I'm going to table those discussions. There's something more immediate concern. Um, in the United States, in the state of California, there's a lifeline program for phones. And what you do is you go to, like let's say, if you live in Los Angeles, you go to Department of Public Social Services, and these folks will be out. They'll be giving away free government phones. All you have to do is present your EBT card. I get food stamps. I get general relief. I get free medical care. I get a free phone. I just started a job. I've worked out for a couple of days, and hopefully I'm behind on my rent. So I'm not doing too well financially right now, but I think I'll be doing okay if I just hold the line and follow through and show some discipline. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. This this free phone program is absolutely wonderful, but a couple of problems I've run into with my new phone already. I can't show you because it's the one that's actually shooting this video, and I have a front-facing phone. Um, I'm thinking I should be using the camera on the back of the phone, but then again, I wouldn't know how I appeared. I couldn't adjust it in the picture. I couldn't adjust the picture because I'm not able to see myself and come around, see the front and whatnot and so forth. Anyway, a couple of things. I got a notice saying I had to participate in a Lifeline registration program. Now, the first time this happened to me, the Lifeline company, this is Assurance Wireless, which I think is wonderful. Assurance Wireless told me I have to register my phone and register my use of the phone, use it at least once a month with great phone policy services. Well, I didn't do that, and my phone service got cut off. Okay, so I thought that was a little bit odd because something like that never happened before. I ended up changing carriers. That wasn't Assurance Wireless. That was somebody else. So this time I got a message stating I need to register my phone or register my service. I followed through. I gave them, I don't know that I gave them a social security number, but I did give them date of birth and maybe driver's license, possibly where I live. So I gave them enough personal information. I hit the register button. I'm hoping I did not give the social security number, but I might have. But they said data breach alert, and it said we cannot register. We detected the data breach. Folks, I'm all grown up. I'm a little bit too old for you little kids to be lying to. But we've got people who are acting like monsters, who are engaging in all types of tomfoolery in an effort to rip people off, steal their identity, steal sensitive and critical information, and they take your money. I get general relief at the rate of $221 a month from the County of Los Angeles. I appreciate that. That money comes in handy. However, it's been stolen from me twice. First time I got a note saying your PIN has been compromised, changed it. And I didn't think anything of it. I go to take the money out of my account and I'm down to 19 bucks when I should have 221. So they basically took $200, paid a $2 service charge, and it was somewhere back east. It happened the second time. It happened last month. These idiots were in Wells Fargo, and they took my money again. I ended up recouping that money, and I ended up recouping even more money. But that's not the point. So I've got to figure out how to keep these people from stealing my money again. Here's what's interesting about the Lifeline phone program. is when I did a factory reset, I turned it back on. I have all these very, very, very interesting, brand new, unusual apps, and frankly, I don't want any of them. And frankly, if I could tell whoever the powers that be that I don't want you to be putting things on my phone that I didn't ask for, and I'm irritated because I have to go into the settings and select apps and dump all the apps. Well, I got an alarming message, actually a couple of alarming messages, and I think it's from Assurance Wireless. Assurance Wireless actually cares about their customers' well-being and safety. And they said a lot of your apps are running in the background, and they're transmitting they're transmitting data. They're shuttling data back and forth in the background without your knowledge to the internet, using up your allotted data. And now I just got my data renewed a couple of days ago, and half of it's gone already. And I've gone through and I've eliminated all sorts of suspicious apps. Um, I've hit delete, uninstall, and force stop on all suspicious apps that I didn't think were necessary, gaming apps, weirdo apps. But unfortunately, half of my data is gone. I get 5 gigabytes a month. That's it. If I want more, I've either got to go to McDonald's and hijack their Wi-Fi, or I've got to stay home and hijack my household Wi-Fi, with neither one of which I paid for. I appreciate McDonald's and the courtesy they show, but if you go to a Del Taco, you may get Wi-Fi, you may not. Same thing with El Pollo Loco. It depends on how the manager feels. McDonald's, they're relatively consistent. McDonald's will near most all McDonald's will almost always extend to you Wi-Fi. They've got eBOS for the regular employees, and then the regular free Wi-Fi for guests and customers. Okay, so that's my fallback. Now, here's the problem: when I'm driving around and I need to find somebody, find a client, find my way to a job, maybe my boss sends me on an errand, and I'm out of data, I have to find the place with Wi-Fi, locate the Google Drive app, Google Maps app. I have to download that, and then I have to go on Google Maps to find out where the heck it is that I'm going. I can't do that if I'm out of data and I'm driving around the street in northern Los Angeles. And I'm going to tell you right now, 70% of Los Angeles is entirely unfamiliar to me. I just went through the Garment District only 2 months ago. I've never been there before. Fascinating. It's basically like another planet. But here's the point: these apps that offload themselves onto my Android platform, on my Android smartphone, they don't they Google allows free license to this kind of crap on any Android operating system platform. Android being an operating system for smartphones that are not Apple iPhones. There's Apple iPhone that has the Apple Macintosh operating system. I don't know what that's called. And then, of course, for PCs, um, personal computers, network computers, laptop computers, their operating system, of course, is Windows or Linux. I've actually had Linux. Believe it or not, I actually prefer Linux over Windows. It's easier, it's more basic, more stripped down, less problematic, less whistles and bells. The problem with Google, or the problem with the Android operating system, is it welcomes anybody and everybody who wants to be a chef to come by and put a little seasoning in the stew. The problem is too many cooks spoil the broth, and also the people who want to steal your identity, steal your information, or they don't want to do that, they just want to harvest your data. They create these worthless apps that unload themselves onto your phone every time you do a reset or you get a new phone, or somehow you visit a website and the app just throws itself at you, or you download an app that says it's going to enhance your phone's hearing. It doesn't, by the way. Don't do that. There's an app on Google Play called Sound Enhancement. It's a Trojan horse. Don't get it. Stay the hell away from it. It's a rainbow picture of a big round speaker, and believe you me, it doesn't work. Your phone sound is not going to be improved by an app. Your phone sound is going to be improved by you getting a better phone. That's it. So these apps, they download themselves onto your phone without your knowledge, consent, or approval, or consent, approval, same thing, and they start running data in the background. Now, what is this? Data is basically that's mining for information, tracking your movements, market research. Well, if you want to research my market, where my hands are at 11 o'clock at night versus where my finger is up my nose at 2 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning before I'm about to go to work, that's my business. If I want to share anything like that with you, I'll let you know. But my movements and tracking me on my every movements for the sake of market research is not something I've given you permission to do. Now, here's the biggest problem. Even if it's benevolent, if it's a benevolent form of identity theft, which it is, because data harvesting and identity theft are basically one and the same thing, varying degrees of unethical behavior, varying people who want to be observed, who don't want to be observed, varying degrees of morality. So, in my opinion, data harvesting and identity theft are one and the same. It just matters who does it and why they do it to you. So you call in, or you don't call in, but what you do is you have 5 gigabytes, and all of a sudden you reset because you think you have spyware, and the spyware looks for these reset opportunities. They'll upload themselves to kind of get on board in the confusion, stow away on your phone, and then they start running data and using up your running information, and using up your data. Well, anything on your phone that exists on your phone's operating system that is shuttling data back and forth to the internet is going to use the amount of data you're allotted per month or per billing cycle. In my case, I don't pay anything, but I get 5 gigabytes a month. I'm at 2.54 gigabytes of usage right now, and my data got topped off the day before yesterday. Now, if I keep going at this rate, I'm going to be out of data by Wednesday. And I'm going to have to wait, this time I'm going to have to wait probably a full 3 to 4 weeks before it gets topped off again. The problem is 2.44 gigabytes is a lot. Now, what apps loaded themselves on my phone? Because there are apps that help themselves to my phone's data limit, so they can watch me very carefully and watch what I'm doing, so as to track my movements and do consumer research to help them sell stuff better. So I didn't give them permission to do that, and they've taken away something from me. Even the fact that, despite the fact that I didn't pay for it, I want my data so that I can use Google Maps to get where I need to be. If I don't see a McDonald's on my home in sight, I want my own data. It's my data. I want to hold on to it in case they're thinking about a song. And I want to sing to myself to elevate my mood in the morning because I'm so tired. And I hate getting up in the morning at 6 a.m. or 6:30 to go to work. But my boss is cool and I like the job. So, but I want to put myself in a good mood. I can't do that because guess what? These apps that load themselves up on my operating system take up my data. They take up my data allowance. It's an allowance of data, and they run their tracking. They run their tracking nodes. It basically it's spyware, and I don't give a good goddamn whatever the hell else anybody says about spyware. Spyware is spyware is spyware. Spyware is designed to harvest data. Harvesting data, putting it in usable packets for market research is what sells. That makes money. I don't know how they do it on other planets, or if there are other humanoids on other planets that screw job each other like this. But I just, I don't know what to say. So, folks, I can't give you much advice except for the fact that if keep your phone as clean as possible, go through apps, dump all the apps you don't recognize. It'll give you a little warning message. If you have a hard time opening your phone or talking on it, you knock out the sound, or the rich feature, the texting feature has been erased. You actually can do that to your phone. Then give me a call or give me somebody you trust to call and have them come by and fix your phone. It probably wouldn't take more than 5 or 10 minutes. But be careful. Okay. Again, you also get these messages, critical alerts. Error ZL101 is flashing. Do you want to take care of it? Like error 001 or 10. What? Oh, if it's a problem on my phone and you're so kind to tell me about it, please, here, I'll download your program. You can go fix it for me. Well, guess what? They're the ones who carry it. They're the ones who kill it. They bring a bunch of diseased pigs onto your farm, shoot every single one of them in the head, and then they serve them to you for lunch and say, "See what your farm's got? Okay, so I'll start paying me money to come here to really protect things. What you need is protection from these antivirus programs. In order to, you know, I don't know about not antivirus, how well it works. But I've tried, it seems, everything, and it seems like I have more issues with spyware after I've loaned the anti-spyware hardware on my phone. And you guys can call in and leave a comment, leave a like, leave a dislike, tell me, threaten me with knives and guns, and drop a pile of dead computers in my head. I hope you wouldn't do that because I'm sure that would hurt. But here's the point. Like I said, if you all of a sudden start getting apps you don't recognize, dump them immediately. Don't ask questions. Go to your settings. Go to apps. This is assuming you have an Android phone and not an iPhone. I don't know how iPhones work. But I can't speak for them or about them. Anyway, if you get any suspicious looking emails, don't open them up. Just dump them. You get anything suspicious that says you want $1 million, tap here. Don't do it. It's a rabbit hole. They want to harvest your information. Anybody and everybody who wants to offer you a killer rate on a killer personal loan, if you know you've got bad if you've got I'm sorry, if you've got bad credit, no bank in the world is going to loan you $5,000. But you know what they are going to do before they get to that point where they tell you, sorry, your credit's no good, we can't loan you any money. They will have already gotten all of your banking information. They will have got your social security number. They've got your first and last. They've got your home address. I already said that. Okay, and they've got the bank account number and the routing number. And unfortunately, at one time I made a mistake of giving one of these assholes the pension, the code, the PIN code, the secret PIN code to my account. I think, and they said, well, we want to make sure you have enough money to pay off the loan. No, they wanted to root in my account and take the money. And I was stupid enough to let them do it. Fortunately, there wasn't anything. So they come back and they change up their pitch. They change up the loan amount again. I've been spending all day long trying to get this loan from them. They have no intention of giving me a loan. It's a scam. I had a line of $9,000 loan. They said, you need a couple of gift cards, one from Cabela's Bass Pro Shop and one from Savon. And I actually gave these idiots $250. What the hell have I just done? They say that was a processing fee for the $9,000 loan. Now, I hung up and I verified. I called with them and I just gave them some bullshit information and random information, and then I started fishing with them, and I wouldn't give them any money. And I found out that I'm never going to get $250 back. But the girl's name was Kathy, and we had a good time. I had been had. I was naive enough to fall into that trap. So, what's the moral of the story? If you have an Android phone, get rid of apps that look suspicious. Get rid of apps you don't use. Get rid of apps that are not critical to the function of the operating system on your phone. Get rid of them and stop them and uninstall them, or what do they call it? Force stop them if you can. Okay? Everybody's trying to steal your money. Just basically imagine that every single person on this planet wants to steal money from you. Act accordingly. Anyway, that's pretty much that. I still have gripes about eBay. eBay is just resorting to advertising on TV. It is not seller friendly anymore. eBay is not a place where sellers can make money anymore. So I would recommend staying away from it. I'm still in the process of trying to set up my own website. Before I do that, though, I want to learn center of pressure, center of gravity on designing building rockets. Now, I've left off building rockets and listed them on eBay for several reasons. The rockets I built don't work because I didn't do aerodynamic calculations, and I didn't do my calculations for CP and CG, and therefore my rockets never flew right. Now I can list a rocket on eBay for a year and a half and it won't sell. And the reason it won't sell, it'll get 47 views and not one bid, is because I earned a reputation making rockets that don't work. Now I have an axe to grind with myself. So what do? Stop making rockets? No. I'm learning the Jim Barrowman's calculations. So I've got a regimen. I've got a whole program of education I want to get. I want to teach myself aerodynamic principles of building rockets, aerodynamic principles of rockets that fly successfully. I will teach myself. I will learn. The other thing is I'm going to learn self-publishing so that I can start promoting my own books. I've written 4 books, okay, and I'm not getting any traction with the writing of the books. So I'm going to learn self-publishing, and then I'm going to teach myself e-commerce. I'm going to teach myself sewing. I've got that welder I got to build and fix. I need to teach myself welding. So there you go. There you have it. E-commerce, website design, calculating aerodynamic forces of rockets that fly right, and then teaching myself welding and sewing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So whatever it takes to make the businesses work. Um, again, um, you know, I'm watching all these people. I understand that they might help me be successful, but the days when you go to a publisher and they'll say, well, it'll take 2%. Well, they still take 2 to 20 to 40, 30 to 40%, but that doesn't mean they have faith in your book. They're still, excuse me, they're still going to want an upfront fee. So you got to spend money to make money as a writer. I just watched. I have kind of an accident because I watched this commercial that it was trying to look at me saying, "Oh, we know why you don't finish anything, Jason. It's just because you don't have that certain type of intellect." Well, guys, I know why I don't finish anything. I haven't finished any of these rockets because I need to learn CG and CP. I need to learn how to build rockets correctly, then experience the success of selling rockets like gangbusters, selling rockets that work right. So one has to follow after the other. As far as writing books is concerned, I'm going to put that off until I fully understand self-publishing, and I can get out there and I can bust the pavement and sell these books one after the other if I have to. Okay, so my life isn't a gimme. It's a lot of do-overs. It's a lot of, I'm not going to do this. I'll walk out of something myself. My life is cast a wide net, try everything, and keep at everything until you find something that works. Keep the stuff you like on the back burner until you figure out how to do it right. In the meantime, in the front burner is you making money to make the resources to get this stuff off the ground. And while you're doing that, enjoy yourself with that as well. So I make a plan of action. My plan of action is to get Durant's paid off $8,500 to publish my first book. But then after that, I've got 3 more books for her for them to publish. Well, I mean, why am I saying that? I thought I said I was going to learn how to self-publish. Okay, I appreciate that, but guess what? I need to primer the business. You can't make money without money. I need some type of business loan, or I need an inheritance from my rich uncle, or I need to win the California State Lottery. But the only way you're going to start a business that really works and do things right and study the market and really work on advertising and promotion and executive, to get all that done, you need capital up front. The book I wrote is called, Mega, excuse me, I'm getting tired. Called Little Dixie, and I'm going to save up my money. I'm working a job, AG Automotive, for Rosita and H Chuck, and his wonderful girlfriend. I'll shout out to both of you. I love you both very much. I'm your only mechanic. I'm going to stick with you guys. Don't worry, I'm not going to bail on you. Okay, but I'm going to work this job, and I'm going to get Dorrance paid off. I'm going to get my first book published. I'm going to make money off of that, and then support myself and save up enough money from that to get the other books published. Once I make enough money, I'm going to establish a charitable remainder trust whereby I'll buy a house, replace my car, get something that's registered and insured, get all my debts paid off, get my taxes caught up with, not be owing anybody any money. So one thing after another. It's not that I don't finish the task, guys. I just lose steam trying out things that just don't work. If there's no market for what I'm doing, and it's not going to make me money, or I'm not doing it right, or I don't have the money or resources to put it to give it an adequate promotional effort, then I'm going to have to figure out how to make money so I can start putting the right amount and type of promotion into these books because I know I'm a fabulous writer. There's never been a question about that. I think I'm a wonderful writer. Okay, but like I said, if I don't have the cash, I don't have the cash. So I'm going to give Dorrance a total sum of $8,900 to polish my first book. I know it sounds like a lot of money to put it down on a house or buy an almost used car for that much money. But Dorrance Publishing in Pittsburgh, especially Mary Ferragonio, are some special people to me. They've won my loyalty, and so I want to keep publishing books with them. But first things first. They're holding out a carrot in front of me, but they're not going to give me a carrot. I owe them $8,500 as soon as I do. We're going to make that oil that we're going to make that one a success all the way. We're going to use that money to start investing in other things and get the ball rolling with that. I need some startup capital, and that book that I wrote, if it's published, if it's promoted properly, it's going to help me do the trick and get the ball rolling. So a lot of these other projects I kind of look at as research and development, or if they peter out, it's because I've hit a wall. It's because I'm out of ideas, I'm out of resources, or what's been most relevant these days, I'm out of time. So, moral of that story, me telling you anything about myself or any crazy thing I attempt is you got to put a lot of irons in the fire. You got to cast a lot of nets over a very, very wide place, and you got to just keep trying things until you find a market for something that works, and you hit a clink instead of a thud. You've hit gold. So you start digging the area. And by the way, if I find that writing kiddie books and literature for 3-year-olds will make me several $1,000,000, that's the startup capital I need for the writing business and the engineering business and anything else I want to do. I could be a freelance entrepreneur, set up a charitable maintenance trust, and I wouldn't have to work for anybody. It's not a pipe dream. You just got to make steps and plans to get to that point. And I don't want to be a burden on the system. I don't want to be a burden on anybody else. If I'm independently wealthy and I've got all my taxes covered, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm supporting myself adequately. That's what I want to do. So anyway, so you just got to keep trying stuff until something works. If you own an Android phone, though, like I said, be very, very careful. Anytime you see something that's been downloaded onto your phone's apps, but you didn't give permission to put it there, phone court, get rid of it immediately, or at the very least, investigate it on Flipkart. I would not keep it, but that's up to you. But by those apps data harvesting and stealing my information and tracking me online, half of my data is gone. So they're spying on me and they're taking my resources. That's what I'm telling you to be careful about. The other thing about me making a plan to make plans, folks, sometimes you got to figure out between step A and step B, there's got to be a step A and a half, or B and 3/4. You've got to have steps to get you from one major goal to another. And you've got to be consistent. You really got to work it. So that's pretty much that. I've actually enjoyed talking about this. I was going to say, I'm at the 28-minute mark. I was going to espouse on a pet peeve I have about the subject of time. But at 28 minutes, 30 minutes is the sweet spot. The name of the show is An Axe to Grind. You know what, folks? It's not really an axe to grind. It's that meaning that I have things to complain about. Like my dearly departed friend, Al Mickelson said, I can complain, but it wouldn't do any good, and nobody listens anyway. I added the last part. Negativity will hold you back. Instead, try to understand and realize not necessarily what's holding you back. If what's holding you back is you're holding back for a reason. Again, using myself as an example, why am I not building more rockets in my off time, aside from my work and job at Reseda, and selling them on eBay? Well, now there's two reasons. eBay doesn't work. You can't make any money at it. And number two, I don't know how to build rockets correctly. I mean, I can build rockets that hold up structurally, but my CP and my CG calculations are off. So I've got to learn the math principles to successfully build a rocket with good aerodynamic characteristics. Then I've got to remanufacture. Then I've got to rebuild my reputation. Hey guys, this is why my rockets failed. I did calculations and research, but and now my rockets fly. But guess what? I can't do that because I've vowed not to go back to eBay or any other selling supply. So the other thing holding me back is guess what? The fact that I need a website, which is another thing I'm going to teach myself. So, rocket, airframe, construction, aerodynamics, CP and CG, and web design. Then after that, guess what comes out? Um, then after that, I've got to teach myself e-commerce and or self-publishing and then self-promotion. I've got 4 fabulous books, but I've only been able to give away one. And it's not the fact that nobody's listening. I think it's the fact that too many people are talking. If you've been to a library lately, wow, I can't believe how many books there are. And I'm one in the voice of about 20 million people. I have to shout real loud to be heard. I have a lot more to say in my books. I'm a better writer than pretty much almost anybody I know. And here I am, stuck with 4 books that I only gave away one. I've got any traction for. In fact, I've got a couple extra copies of a book that's top notch. It's sitting down here if you want it. It's called The Finish Line, the Taylor Adventure, Taylor Swift Adventure. In fact, I think I'm going to start self-promoting that. But then again, why spend my wheels if I don't know what I'm doing? So I'm going to teach myself the Jim Behrman calculations for understanding CG and CP and the forces working on a rocket as going through 1 through 5 stages of flight. So I'm going to teach myself that. I'm going to, like I said, teach myself self-publishing, and then let's see. Oh yeah, that's right. No, I'm going to teach myself CG and CP how to build rockets right. I'll build a website to sell the rockets on. Then I'm going to build. Then I'm going to research self-publishing so I can figure out a way to start publishing the books I write. So I can't do one without the other. I want to work smart, not hard. So and then after that, when once make enough money, hopefully a lot, set up a charitable remainder trust, save my money, set some material goals for getting a modest home, replacing my vehicle, getting my vehicle registered and insured for once in a very, very long time. And of course, I have goals to change personal habits, start a little bit of Tai Chi, lose some weight, um, you know, things like that. So I have goals. So I guess maybe like I said, what I'm saying is, if at first you don't succeed, try again. But if you don't succeed and you keep not succeeding, take things one step backwards a little bit further, and figure out what you're doing wrong, and figure out how to correct the mistakes you're making. Okay, and that's pretty much that. Now this is no longer a show about AnAxeToGrind. This is a show that I should call, green chili with chutney. Really isn't that bad, and your grandmother's recipe is absolutely delicious. Things like that. I'm sorry, I threw that into a joke. But like I said, you've got to just keep at it. So, figure out what you want to do out of life. Figure out what you're good at and you have a passion and talent for, and then go for that. And keep trying. I'm 56 years old, but you know that every day that passes me may bring me one day closer to death if I die. But the other saying is, with the people who say that I can't stand my life, I can't stand my life in this nutshell. Well, be thankful for the fact that you don't have to be scared by anybody in the planetary, in the outside world, and your rent's free, and you got a place to stay. So what are you worried about? So I mean, we've always got something to be thankful for. But like I said, I'm 56 years old. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Another thing too, when you figure out what you want to do, and you have a passion and talent for it, you might want to consider getting some units at local junior college and then applying to a couple of universities. You get a 2-year degree, accelerated degree, like a Bachelor of Science, whatever field of research of that you have a passion and talent for. And like Morgan Freeman said to one character in the first Dolphin Tales movie, you dropped you know, the diver said, "I'm broken," and Morgan Freeman's character pushes over a glass ball and breaks it. And said, "No, that's broken." And Morgan Freeman's line to that character, one of his lines, is something I'll never forget. He said, "There are only a million things to do." Okay, so we might be overwhelmed by choice, but somewhere out there is a choice for us, a choice to make a difference, a choice to do things we have passion and talent for. But again, you've got to connect point A to point B. If you can't get from point A to point B because you need to get your education, you need to get your GED, you need to get a certificate of completion, or you need to learn how to weld, then you've got to do that. So be realistic about your talents and abilities. I know a lot of people deal with the problem of dealing with people who think they have talents and abilities and they cut them off right away. If you're sure about yourself, the talents and passions you have, pursue them, but figure out what it is that you need to get. What field of research and engineering and study do you need to engage in? Do you need to get a degree, or do you need to go to a trade school? Or do you need to know somebody who knows somebody and you've got the flair, make some money with it first, fake yourself, light the way through it, and then come back, which you made money, and then get your education afterwards. Kind of like what Steven Spielberg did. Steven Spielberg was a college dropout. He directed several very, very, very successful movies that are iconic. He finally got a little money, and Steven Spielberg said, "Okay, now that I've got the money, let me go ahead and pay my own way." So he went back to college. I think he went to USC Film School, UCLA Film School, and he finished his degree in filmmaking. And he was the one who gave the graduating speech at that ceremony. Steven Spielberg, the guy is, the guy the guy's lost a kidney. He's very old, um, but he's still friends with was it John Williams and of course George Lucas and Steven Spielberg is going to be going full throttle for the rest of his life because if you do what you love and you love what you do, you end up you don't work a day in your life. And I know I'm closing my eyes when I'm saying this. I am tired. I'm exhausted, but I have a passion and talent for building rockets. I just need the education, a little ignorant. I have a passion and talent. I have a very, very, very steep passion and a very strong talent for writing. I think I'm a fantastic writer. I'm speaking objectively. I'm not even trying to brag. I'm a wonderful writer. The problem is, it's not the problem. The challenge is making money. You have to follow a plan, a connected plan. You have to have resources, and you have to have. Uh, there's a procedure, there's a way for doing these things. Like myself, if I can, educate, I'm going to educate myself. Like I said, I keep saying this. I'm going to educate myself on rocket aerodynamics and principles, CG and CP, self-publishing, and how to get my books sold, e-commerce, um, and how to build a website, and then on top of that, all the rest of fabrication skills that I'm not very good at. I'm going to teach myself welding. I've got a welding machine I'm rebuilding, and I'm going to teach myself sewing. If I don't like sewing, I'll just buy parachutes from somebody else. Everything and anything is focused on the two businesses: either writing books and selling them to make a living that way, or or you know or the engineering and rocketry business. And there's nothing that says I can't do both at the same time. So, but I want to be able to make a comfortable living, get my taxes caught up with, my debts paid off, replace my vehicle with something that is brand new, registered, reliable, and insured, and then buy myself a place to live. I think those are modest and reasonable goals. They've been my goals for a long time. Um, One other thing, I know I keep going on, I'm closing my eyes when I'm saying this. Um, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I saw an ad for, how you're not getting things done, and it's a hustle. It's make money. We'll pay us money. We'll help you make a success out of your life. it's guys, it's a hustle. And you're saying, well, you're not dumb, you're not disciplined, you just don't have follow through. Well, if you don't have follow through, you're not disciplined, and if you're not dumb, you should know that having no follow through is basically a sign of no discipline. So stop saying you're not disciplined. And the other thing is figure out how to get stuff done. So it is a matter it is a matter of motivation, and it is a matter of self discipline and self control. There's no mystery about that. And maybe you need to, like me, you need to spread your net, cast a wide net, pull in anything that'll bite, and throw back the stuff you don't want. Or you need to laser focus on something, and you've already got somebody backing you up materially and financially, so you know what you want to do. You just stick to that one subject until you punch through. Okay? The definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again until it works. Or trying, excuse me, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again, getting the same result, but expecting a different result the next time you do the same thing. It kind of like this kind of does not work like that. So when you cast these wide nets, which I've been doing for a long time, at 56 years old, I'm not getting younger, I understand that. Here's the crux of the point. Don't give up. Do not give up. Now or never, do or die. Today's the first day of the rest of your life. Life is a gift. Don't waste it. Life is a treasure. Do or die. Get it done. Figure it out. Keep trying to figure it out. If you've got to pray to God for wisdom, that's fine. If you need to go to computer learning at AnAx, that's fine. You need to go to night school. Go to night school. If you need to watch blogs, anything to primer it. But remember, between these big steps, you need smaller, more connective steps so you don't get discouraged and bogged down and run into a wall that's basically a very large step that you created for yourself. You're scratching your head wondering, why can't I make my steps 6 feet tall? Well, that's unrealistic. That's not a stairway. That's a step building structure. So you need steps that are workable for you. The other things you can't be comparing yourself to others. You can't be worried about what other people think. You have to worry about being diplomatic and kind and treat others the way you want to be treated. I understand that. But you're focusing on yourself so that you become a watertight vessel and you just keep trying. Keep trying new things. I know that I want to design and build sounding rockets and model rockets. I know that I want to write books. I have so much fun. I know I want to make enough money to support myself, get my taxes paid off, my debts paid off, buy myself a reliable car, buy myself a house, and be completely independent and living off the charitable remainder trust, perhaps even having a charitable remainder trust for donations, to something to get rid of tax liability, things like that. Reasonable goals, not fabulously wealthy. I don't need that much. But here's the saying again. Um, well, I mean, you can't give up. You got to keep trying. If something doesn't work, back up, figure out why it doesn't work, try something else that does, and keep trying until you punch through. I think I've made a difference, but let's see how things turn out for you. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. For goodness sake, leave a comment. I want to hear from you guys. This has been another episode of AnAxeToGrind. A little bit more on the positive side. I'm motivating myself. I'm motivating you. And remember, uh, you know, real courage is doing something despite being incredibly afraid to do it. All right, my name is Jason Walter. Another episode of AnAxeToGrind, and we'll see you next week. I seem to do these on a regular basis every Sunday night, so we'll see you again Sunday night. And we're at the 44-minute mark. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stayed tuned for the entire thing. I hope this wasn't so dry that you didn't want to hear it. And I hope that if you find a better the way to success, the way I'm talking about it, what I'm doing, I'm hoping you'll be kind enough to come tell me where I'm wrong and tell me how you did it. And I'll use you as an example, and I'll talk about your success. I'll do things your way. I'll become a success doing things the way you did them, and then we'll turn around and we'll tell everybody else. How about that? Okay, one last thing. I have a confession to make. I did want to learn day trading, but I got to tell you, between rocket aerodynamics, website design, e-commerce, and self-publishing and sewing and welding. I think I have a lot of things to learn about, which is what I'm going to spend my time after working on the weekends doing, so that I can be proficient in these and I can use this to push me towards my further future goals as well. I will tell you how things develop in my life as time goes on. It hasn't been easy. It's been really rough. But you know what? A positive attitude, a clean frame of mind, stay away from drugs, stay away from alcohol. You will do very, very well. You don't need either one to be happy or be a success. All right? And remember, too, happiness is a choice. You decide how you want to feel. If you want to feel excited, if you want to feel like you need to be somebody who needs to be in a positive frame of mind, just ask yourself one question. Do you enjoy being depressed? Serious question. Do you enjoy being angry and negative? Do you enjoy taking a magnifying glass to your skin and burning part of your skin? Do you enjoy sticking yourself with a knife? Okay, so then why would you allow yourself to feel negative feelings and thoughts and emotions? There's nothing in the world that is telling you to feel negative emotions. Everything in the world is telling you to pray for wisdom, be objective, set your emotions aside, and figure out what the heck happened so that I don't do it again. Learn from your mistakes. But guess what, folks? All that gets blocked by negative emotions. So you start to discover that getting rid of the negative emotions is not a way to setting yourself up to be on a lonely desert island learning spiritual worlds from the third dimension to learn that the thing is what blocks you is the fact that what you tried at this point doesn't work. Subconsciously, you don't want to do anything about rockets because you're just not getting where you need to be. Either you don't like building rockets, okay, or you're just doing something wrong. So keep trying to figure out what it is you want. Make sure that what you're going for and you're spending your life over is what you have or what you really want. Remember, be passionate and talent for it. And, anyway, so that's that. Hey guys, I've spoken a lot. We're at the 47-minute mark. I've got to go. It's 10 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed by 1. I want to relax. I've had a lot of fun. I feel like we've gotten some things done. I'm not as animated as I should be. Um, there's just it's interesting. There's kind of a secret to being a type of host that's more animated and it's somebody who's more engaging. I know that I talk about a lot of things, and it's fairly dry subject matter. I always think that I'm a charismatic and lively individual. I actually tend to be very dry and boring, but you want to listen to the information, and that's pretty much that. All right, good night, you guys. Leave a like, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment, exercise your right to freedom of speech, and we'll talk to you next week.